Instead of just posting an answer key for this quiz review, I'm going to kind of write it out for you. So I will listen, I will tell you, you will listen to my explanation of it, and then I will just give you the answers to some of them. So convert these degrees to radians. If you have no idea what that means, you should go back and watch the radians videos. So we know that a 30-degree angle is 1/6 of the whole. If 180 is pi, if you divide that by 30, that's 6. So 30 degrees is 1/6 of pi, or pi over 6. Similarly, if it's not just 1, what if we have 225? Well, I know 225 is over in this quadrant, and that appears to have a 45-degree reference angle. So then the question is, how many of those 45s do we have? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. So this is 5 pi over 4. And I got the 4 because I know that a 45-degree angle is the entire pi divided by 4 is a 45-degree angle. So a 30-degree angle is pi over 6. 45-degree angle is pi over 4. I shouldn't have wrote it like that. And a 60-degree angle is pi over 3. Keeping those same that same strategy, you could do that. 210 pi is 7 pi over 6, because we know that a 30-degree angle is pi over 6. And 330 is going to be 11 pi over 6. If you remember from our converting video, it could have been 330 pi over 180, and you could have simplified that to get your answer, 11 over 6 pi. Going the other way around, you can either just go ahead and remember that pi over 3 is 60 degrees. If you don't remember that, like this one, 3/4 pi is going to be 135 degrees because it's over in that quadrant. You have 3 times 180, because pi is 180 over 4, and you'll get 135. Or the last method we talked about is pi over 4 is 45 degrees times 3. Any way you do it, you'll get 135. Now 9 pi over 4 is the 2 pi and another 45-degree angle. So it's actually 360 degrees plus the 45. So we have 405 degrees. 4 pi over 3 is 1 pi plus another third. So 180 plus 60 will be a 240-degree angle. Finding the reference angle. Reference angle is just the angle between that value and the x-axis. So here's 0, 90, and 180. 135 is going to be over here. And then the question is, what's the difference between 180 and 135? And we'll know that that's a 45-degree reference angle. If it's just in the first quadrant and you just go 40 degrees, what's the distance from there to there? 40 degrees. 460 would be the 360 and another 100. So that would be an 80-degree reference angle. Negative 160 would give a 20-degree reference angle. Again, if you need these worked out any more in its entirety, please let me know. Find the coordinates on the unit circle. So 150 is over here, and we have a 30-degree reference angle if 150 goes till there. And then we just bust out our special right triangle. Square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2, but it's negative because I'm going back. So the point on the unit circle at 150 would be back, square root of 3 over 2, and up 1/2. Likewise, if I go negative pi over 4, I know that's a 45-degree angle, which is the point on the circle is going to be square root of 2 over 2 positive, and then I'm going to go down square root of 2 over 2, so that'll be a negative. 3 pi over 4, there's 1, 2, 3/4 pi, so it's at like 135 degrees, which again is another 45-degree angle. So it would be negative square root of 2 over 2 because you go back, and then positive square root of 2 over 2 because you go up. Again, our points always start at 0, so if you go back, it's a negative x. If you go up, it's a positive y. Solving these equations is just the same as backtracking. However, we're going to have to do a little bit more work at the end. So we have sine of theta is square root of 2 over 2. And then we have to ask ourselves, when is our y value equal to that? So when is my y value square root of 2 over 2? I know that happens in a 45-degree angle, and it's positive, so I'm going to go up. Those are our two options, but it says first quadrant, so I only care about that one. And what is the degree measure in here? Oh my gosh, it just erased it all. It was a 45-degree angle. If you want to go and go back and look at that work, it is a 45-degree angle. Divide both sides by -2. We have cosine of theta is negative square root of 3 over 2, because there was a negative involved. So when is cosine is x, so when is x square root of 3 over 2? We know that that's in a 30-degree angle, but it's negative. So when does cosine go back? It's over here. And then we got these 30-degree angles, and it says third quadrant. So I only care about that one. So the question is, what is 180 plus our 30-degree reference angle? Will be 210. So the same process is going to be repeated on these next examples. However, instead of giving your answer in degrees, you would just give it in radians. So I'm just going to show you how that would work here. When you had this as square root of 2 over 2, you know it's 45 degrees. You know that radian is pi over 4. You could just convert it if you'd like. Like here, 180 degrees is pi, and we have an additional pi over 6. So we have 6 of them, plus another one. This would be 7 pi over 6. We're going to use that same strategy for all of them with radians. So here are the answers to the second page using that same strategy. So I know cosine of a half is a 60-degree angle, and it says the fourth quadrant, so I'm going to go down here. So it's a 300 degrees, but we don't care about that. It's radians, so it's not quite 2 pi. Pi over 3, it's going to be 5 pi over 3, because 6 pi over 3 would be 2. There is no solution if you have a sine or cosine value more than 1. When we get tangent is equal to 1, we have to think about which one of our special right triangles, if you take the opposite over the adjacent, when is it going to equal 1? And that's at a 45-degree angle. So here it's saying between pi and 2 pi, so I don't care about up there. It's going to be down here, and we only care about radians, so that would have been 4 pi, fourths. So we have 5/4 pi over 5/4 pi. Between pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, I think we're going to get the same answer as last time, because it's still positive, so it's 5 pi over 4. For these down here, you're asking what other angle measure has the same value as that? Well, cosine of 330 would be a 30-degree angle down here. And the cosine value is square root of 3 over 2. So what other angle measure has that same cosine value? It would just be a positive 30 degrees. Same thing with tangent. Tangent's a little different. We got this 45-degree angle because it's pi over 4, and if it's positive, we're going to have to come down here to the negative one, because negative makes a positive. So tangent is positive, negative, positive, negative. So tangent of pi, 5 pi over 4, again that same answer. Looking at that one down there. For these last three, it's just a matter of finding these two values, what's sine of negative 135 and what's cosine of 315, and we're deciding if they're the same. So is the sine of this equal to the cosine of that? I'm going to go ahead and say no, because this sine is negative. These are both 45-degree angles, and this cosine is positive. So no, I'm going to use that same thing, and here are the answers to the last two. Notice for these last couple, whenever I'm dealing with radian measures, I really just convert it to degrees first if I really need to think about it. Pi over 6 I thought about as a 30-degree angle, and then it was more than 180 because I have 7 of them. So it was 6/6 plus another one. If you have any questions, this one is no, because those two values are different. Let me know. Thanks.